What's up, Otakus? I'm back. I'm back to read more comics. I'm kind of hooked on this because, uh, one, I'm just getting to get better acquainted with my collection, which is a great thing. But the other part is it's a lot of fun. I feel like this format is more fun than just me reading comics on my own in my bed. Um, I mean, it'd be a digital copy anyway. It's not like I open my books up or anything. And you get to kind of, enter a time capsule here and kind of see what things were like in and around the time the books were published. So that's kind of cool. And case in point, today's book is something I've been uh, kind of excited to one day read, and we're finally getting around to it. And this is my earliest Lois Lane book. Now, yesterday we read my earliest Action Comics 244, or sorry, 144. No, Action Comics 244, right? Yeah, Action Comics 244. And it was a great read, but it was a pretty, I don't know, the story was fun and interesting. But it wasn't something I was like, like really looking forward to, and kind of, um, I don't know, it wasn't like top of mind in terms of like books in my collection that I really wanted to, I was curious about the story. But this next one, yes, I gotta say, um, it's always been a book that has uh, intrigued me, and it's because of, you know, um, the characters and the artwork and everything um, that the book during this time period kind of represented for the characters. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it here. Today we're gonna focus on reading my. Hang on just a moment. I just closed everything for some reason. Here we go. We're going to focus on reading Lois Lane, number 31. This is my actual copy here. And for those of you who are new to the channel, this is a book I picked up this year in 2025 as part of the Summer of Superman. And I got this for a really good deal. I mean, I got a series of books for like 20 some dollars. This one, by all estimates, would probably be in the $8 range, somewhere around there. And it's an absolutely beautiful copy. Now, the staples are detached, and it's a detached cover, but otherwise a complete book. But it's such a clean detachment, and the cover is really flawless. I mean, all of the things considered. So I just really consider myself lucky to have picked this one. But the reason I really love this book is just because of the, it's an early Silver Age book, and it's very colorful. It's very stylish. Just captures everything from this time that made comic books fun and magical. And I just feel like this is a little bit of a graduation from what we previously read, just in terms of the kind of entertainment value that comic books were providing. Not to say that earlier books didn't do that, but progressively, as we head into the Silver Age, I just feel like the stories were just a little bit better in terms of connecting with, everyday people, really capturing the imagination of the time, and again, just keeping everything within this universe, this character, this and the community of people within the Superman sphere, just really uh, capturing it to where it felt intimate, to where we felt like these people were part of our everyday life, like people that were like considered friends and people uh, we cherished, right? Although they're fictional characters, you definitely kind of fall in love with the characters and who they are and what they represent. So let's get right into it. First off, I'm just going to start here with the cover. Lois Lane featuring Superman and Lana Lang in The Jealous Lois Lane. Uh-oh, the warning light of this emotion machine is registering my jealousy as I watch Superman kiss my rival Lana Lang. I'm sunk. Superman hates jealous women. And like I mentioned, it's just such a beautiful cover in terms of the color, uh, the fashion of the time. Look at this like pleated, kind of like a bloom skirt there. I'm sure there's a name for that, but just a lot of things going on in here. She got this like emotion machine backpack thing, looking very. Anyway, she's just looking so like classic and stylish there. And Lana Lang looks great too in the green. So like green with envy. It's just again artwork that really excels for the period. Kurt Swan goodness right here. Now we have here sort of an announcement. They had raised the price from 10 cents to 12 cents, and the editors here are really kind of letting the boys and girls who read these comics know why the reasoning behind their decision to raise the price on their comics. So, dear boys and girls, first we would like to thank you for having bought this DC magazine, even though it cost you 2 cents more than usual. Obviously, you like our magazine and consider our stories worth the extra 2 pennies. That makes us feel mighty proud. However, we think we owe you an explanation as to why it was necessary to raise our price after successfully publishing comics for over 25 years at 10 cents. Over these past years, the cost of producing our magazines has steadily risen. We have to pay more for art, engraving, paper, and printing. You too have to pay more for most of the things you buy. U.S. postcards, which used to cost only 1 cent, are now 3 cents. Sodas and telephone calls were a nickel. Now they are double that, 10 cents. Hot dogs were a nickel. Now they're at least a dime, 15 cents in most places. Everything costs more today than just a few years ago. Your parents have to pay more for food, clothing, and rent. The retailer who sold you this magazine has also been affected by rising costs, and so has the company that delivered the magazine to him. All of us will share the additional 2 cents, although some of our competitors are now charging 15 cents for the same size comic magazine that we produce. We feel that 12 cents adequately covers our rising production costs and therefore is a much better value for you. We feel confident that you understand the necessity for this slight adjustment and will remain loyal fans. For our part, we promise to redouble our efforts to maintain the same high standards of publishing that have produced the world-famous line of Superman DC Comics. Sincerely yours, the editors. P.S. Our giant annuals will still cost only 25 cents. So here is a letter from the editors justifying what at the time probably seemed like an enormous leap in terms of the price, right? You're talking about like a 20%, increase in the cost from 10 to 12 cents. So, obviously the editors felt they needed to address what it was inflation at the time. And so this was published back in 1961, 1962. And then fast forward today, almost what, 60 some odd years later, and the issues of paying more, rising costs, all of these things remain, of course, pertinent and relevant today. But we're talking about what was once 12 cents. Now you look at the average cost of a comic book, it's at least $4, right? So um, we've just come a long way in terms of from this time period to what comic books cost today, and of course the rising costs over the many, many years in between. So that's just, I think, a cool little way to start us off, kind of frame. We're going from 12 cents, 10 cents to 12 cents here in 1962. All right, let's get into it then. Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. When I look at Superman through these magic glasses, he appears as an eagle. I wonder what sort of creature Clark Kent would look like. In the olden days, magicians used to believe that every human being resembled by nature some particular bird or beast, and that by certain spells, that true personality could be revealed. Imagine you possess the power to see people as non human. How would your father look to you? Like an owl, perhaps? And would a playful younger brother appear as a puppy? As you will see, Lois Lane acquires just such an amazing power when she peers through the magic spectacles. Let's take a pause here. I want to mention that we're not sure who the writer of the stories in this comic book are, but in all likelihood, it was probably Jack Schiff or Robert Bernstein, one of those two individuals. It could have also been like Leo Dorfman, just any one of the people kind of working on Superman comics and Lois Lane comics at the time. But the artwork here is, for the first story, The Magic Spectacles, is an artist by the name of John Forte. And then the last two stories, of course, by the, uh, he's basically synonymous with Lois Lane comic books because he's done so much on the title, and that is Kurt Schaffenberger. And you will see Kurt Schaffenberger's comic books or art when we get to the second and third stories. And obviously, it's an unmistakable style of art for the Lois Lane comics. And so, again, it'll be very characteristic of the artwork throughout the book over the years. All right. All right, just forgive me. I'm catching my breath here as I go along. One day, as reporter Lois Lane is on her way to the Daily Planet, that little man, I know he's an underworld character, but I can't quite remember his name. Wonder why he's going into that auction gallery. Magwitch. That must be Grafton Magwitch, the world-famous producer of horror movies and the TV chiller show, The Haunted Hour. Now that he's dead, they're selling his curie. And now, ladies and gentlemen, what am I bid for the crystal ball that belonged to the sorcerer Cagliostro? Very handy at the racetrack. A lot of phony junk. I'll write a feature this Sunday exposing these fake curios. Fake curios. Let me just shrink this one down here and raise this one up. Gosh, that fat man hasn't stopped eating since I came in here. What a greedy man. And now I offer the magic spectacles that once belonged to the wizard Merlin. What am I bid for these enchanted glasses? $50. So that's what he wanted. Wonder why. I think I'll bid for them too. $60. Sold to the young lady in the back. I must be out of my mind. Those idiotic glasses will cost me almost a week's pay. Well, I'll write a feature telling how phony they are and charge the glasses off as expenses. As Lois examines the spectacles, hmm, could that verse mean that people look like birds or beasts? It can't be true, but there's no harm in trying. I'll look at someone through them. Framed within my magic rims, people have new and stranger limbs, with fur or feather, fang or claw, according to the jungle law. Next moment. Incredible, that greedy fat man. He eats like a pig, and the glasses reveal him as a pig. Thinking her eyes deceived her, Lois tries the glasses again on another stranger. Of course, it's Ratty Malone, the notorious mobster, and seen through these spectacles, he looks like a rat. A little later, as Lois enters the city room of the planet. Good grief. I clean forgot I had an appointment to interview that wrestler, but first, I just have to take a peek at him through my magic glasses. Gosh, it worked again. And the guy's well named Mo the Minotaur, and after the mythological monster that was half bull, half man. Well, you see, it was this way, Chief. Don't call me Chief. This story is terrible. I can't resist seeing what creature of the jungle Perry is. But if you can't write better than this, Jimmy, I'll take away your typewriter and give you a broom. So Perry is a tiger. Well, he always growls like one. And just look at the way he's tearing into poor Jimmy's story. And Jimmy looks like a cub reporter, a bear cub. Come on, Lois, get to work before the whole day's gone. And who do you think you are, peering at me through those fancy spectacles? Some society dame? I can't wait to see what sort of animal Superman is. That evening, when Lois goes home to the apartment she shares with her sister, Lucy, it's absolutely amazing, but it's true. Whatever sort of animal a person's real nature most resembles is revealed by these glasses. What fun! Tell me quick, what kind of creature am I, really? The real you is a peacock, Lucy, because because you like bright clothes, color, dressing up, and you're vain as a peacock, the way you treat Jimmy Olsen. Now you put them on, Lucy, and look at me so we'll know what sort of creature I truly am. Why, Lois, you're a cat. You couldn't be anything else with your curiosity. Golly, I just can't wait to train these glasses on Superman. Lois doesn't have to wait very long, for the next day a fire breaks out across the street from the Daily Planet. And the ladder, it isn't long enough to reach that man. Ah, there's Superman now. So Superman is an eagle. I might have guessed the most powerful bird in the sky. That whole burning wall is going to collapse on top of the crowd. And on the ground, he's revealed as a lion, the king of the beasts. If I try to blow out the fire, it will go the other way and spread the blaze, so I'll use my super breath to spray the flames with a super fountain from those firemen's hoses. Then the Man of Steel, a lion to Lois, uses his super breath to freeze the water around the burning wall into a solid block of ice. I might have known Superman on land and in the air would look like the mightiest animal and the strongest bird. Now he's an eagle again. That afternoon, I tell you, Lucy, he's both an eagle and a lion, something like the griffin of mythology, which was said to punish greedy humans just the way Superman does. But Clark has overheard Lois's entire conversation, and in the first chance I get, I'll see what sort of animal Clark looks like through these magic glasses. I guess those spectacles really work. Lois is too good a reporter to be fooled. What am I going to do? As Clark pretends to be busy at his typewriter, if she looks at me now, she'll see a lion too, and then the cat will be really out of the bag, literally. Next moment, Lois, I feel a bit faint. I'm going out for some air. She'll follow me, or I don't know Lois and her curiosity. Presently, Clark a lion? What gives? Only a Superman looks like a lion. I'll get a taxi and follow him. Arriving at the Metropolis Zoo, Clark leaves his car to be followed by Lois on foot. Now to take a second look at Clark. Perhaps I was mistaken the first time. Traveling at super speed, Clark pays a whirlwind visit to the lion house. First, I'll borrow the splendid specimen from the lion's house here. Let's hope he does the trick. Thus, before Lois has time to see that Clark has vanished, a lion is standing in his place. And Clark is a lion. Aha, that means that he and Superman must be one and the same person. Okay, Clark, own up. I don't know who you really are. Super lion, I mean Superman. Grr. Come on, Clark, confess. It's no use pretending. That's funny. The last time I saw this lion, he had a suit on, but now a real lion? So Clark isn't Superman, but where is Clark? Hope that lion isn't hungry. Nice lion, good lion. Hate to scare Lois like this, but maybe it'll teach her a lesson not to be curious in the future. Once again, Clark employs super speed, returns the dragon to his cage, and then, why, hello, Lois. Fancy meeting you here. Oh, hello, Clark. Thought I'd take a little walk. Hope you feel better. Now I'm feeling faint. That lion, it just disappeared. Well, maybe it was my imagination. You'll never believe me, Clark, but when I looked at you through these glasses, magic glasses, I saw you as a lion. Isn't it silly? You having the character of a lion? Why don't you look at me through those glasses once again, Lois? Maybe this time the magic will work. As Lois pierced through the enchanted glasses once again, oh no, this is impossible. This is what Lois sees. Bah! Clark, these glasses, they show you as meek as a timid lamb. The shock causes Lois to drop the glasses, and as she stoops to retrieve them, Clark uses super speed to return the lamb to the children's farm where he had borrowed it. Uh-oh, the glasses broke. Thanks, Mr. Lamb. You're going back to your home. Lois will never know I let you wear my hat and tie to fool her an instant ago. A split second later, these magic glasses don't work anymore, Clark. The spell wore off because the glass shattered. But when I looked at you through them before I saw you in your real character, a meek lamb. Well, Lois, it couldn't have been worse. It could have been worse. Think how I'd feel if you had looked at me through the magic glasses and seen me as a chicken. The end. All right, we're going to continue on to the jealous Lois Lane. Now, this is the one I was, kind of looking forward to reading, and yeah, it just starts off so, it just starts off so magically and beautifully. I mean, look at the art here. This is Kurt Schaffenberger at his finest, I think. And let's just get into it. Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. Like most girls in love with a man they are not sure of, Lois Lane spends a lot of time worrying about Superman's emotions. Her greatest fear is that the Man of Steel will fall in love with somebody else. And naturally, this worry often leads to a severe case of jealousy, which Lois can't always control. Even though she knows Superman dislikes jealous women, imagine Lois's dismay. Therefore, when she is saddled with a contraption that reveals her every pang of feeling about Superman, the jealous Lois Lane. Good grief, the warning bulb of this emotion machine is lighting up. That means the automatic bell will start ringing any second and let Superman know I'm jealous of the glamorous movie star he's posing with. I must conceal my jealousy. One day at the planet office, as Professor Potter demonstrates his newest invention. I'll show you how my emotion machine works. First, I'll strap it to Perry White's back. Hey, wait, My invention measures the emotional energy a person generates in expressing basic emotions like fear, hate, or jealousy. I'll set these dials to hate. Mr. White, can you think of anything you hate? Well, I. Wait, there's something I hate. That girl who's sent out for lunch is putting ketchup on her cheese sandwich. Brr, I hate ketchup on cheese. And the emotion machine is registering your hatred. See, the warning light is starting to glow. Great Caesar's ghost. Well, what's that? When you reach the peak of your emotional reaction, a bell rings. But now we'll try another experiment. Jimmy Olsen, let's see how you react to fear. After the machine is strapped to Jimmy's back, the fear, Jimmy, now give us your emotional response to this creature. Ah, it's a snake. Yee. But next moment, calm yourself, Jimmy. It's only a harmless garter snake. But you jumped as if it were a deadly cobra. Phew, I should have realized you wouldn't risk my life to show off your invention. Shortly. Well, Lois, what emotion will you demonstrate? Jealousy, perhaps? You sure picked the right one. Jealousy. Lois flips when she sees Superman with another girl. That's ridiculous, Jimmy. I'm not the least bit jealous of Superman. He could marry Lana Lang, and I wouldn't bat an eyelash. Swell, Lois, because I just thought of a wonderful publicity stunt for the professor and a headline story for the planet. I'll let you know what Superman's patrol for the day is. During his tour of duty, he'll encounter several girls. Well, by following Superman's schedule, you can test your theory because we'll have the professor set the machine's dial to jealousy soon. Okay, now at any time Lois feels great jealousy, the bell will ring loudly. Better not let Superman hear that bell ring, Lois. You know how he dislikes jealous females. But I told you, Jimmy, I'm not jealous of him. When I write up this test, I won't have a spark of jealousy to report. An hour later, outside of Metropolis, Betty Drew, the famous actress, is throwing a party and Superman is due to attend at 1 p.m. Many big stars will be here. Presently, gosh, Betty Drew is even more beautiful than she is on the screen. I don't see how any man, including Superman, could resist her. Uh-oh. The warning bulb is lighting up. My jealousy is showing. I'd better control my emotions before the bell starts ringing. Lois Lane, the planet reporter, I'm so glad you're covering my party. But what on earth is that thing on your back? Oh, just an experimental machine. I'm testing for Professor Potter, the inventor. Please pay no attention to it. Just show me around your lovely home. Delighted to if we can squeeze past all these photographers I invited to help me publicize my new film. Minutes after. Good gracious, I didn't know you collected trophies and photographs of Superman. Oh, you've seen nothing yet. I idolize that man. He's everything I ever dreamed about. For example, my garden is full of Superman statues. Oh my gosh, she's done everything possible to flatter Superman's ego. What if he's impressed by all this hero worship? What if he finds her glamour and beauty irresistible? Look, Miss Lane, here comes Superman now. An instant later, hi, Lois. Before I left Metropolis, I heard about Potter's emotion machine. You're supposed to be testing it from the jealousy angle. How are you doing? Why, fine. I expect no reactions whatsoever. As you know, I'm not a jealous person. Ha, Lois can't kid me. She's probably burning up right now over the way Betty Drew is making a fuss over me. The hussy, how she's fawning over him, getting him to pose with her for the cameraman. Suddenly, good grief, the bulb is burning bright. That means the bell will start ringing any second. If Superman heard about the jealousy test, he'll know I'm jealous of Betty Drew if he hears the bell ring. So I must control my feelings, but I can't control them. I'm terribly jealous. There's only one thing I can do, this powder puff from my car to do the trick. I'll put the powder puff between the clapper and the bell so that when it goes off, the clapper will only hit against the cushion soft powder puff and make no sound. A minute later, saved by the bell, or rather from the bell, while the emergency is over and the light bulb is dimming, my feelings of jealousy are fading away. And so as Superman poses for a final picture, that's funny. Maybe I've misjudged Lois. I was sure she'd be jealous of Betty Drew, but the emotion machine's bell didn't ring. Boy, I fooled Superman that time. He'll never know how close I came to betraying my jealous nature. Presently, during the party, according to the schedule Perry gave me, you're supposed to meet Laurie the mermaid at 3 p.m. to accept a surprise gift she wants you to deliver to the Metropolis Museum. Could I hitch a ride so I can cover the event? Sure, Lois. Shortly, Lois is asking for trouble now. She knows Laurie and I were once sweethearts. Lois, I'll build you a raft so you can take pictures from a distance. I'm wise to Superman. He doesn't want me around when he meets his old flame Laurie. Soon as Laurie and the Atlanteans appear, these weird-looking fish inhabit the ocean floor, Superman. We put them in special tanks simulating our deep-sea pressure so that Metropolis Museum can exhibit them for a month. Thanks, Laurie. These creatures have never before been seen on Earth. It all reminds me of the past before you got married. Remember, Laurie, when I scoured the bottom of the sea to gather a perfect set of black pearls for your birthday? Gosh, Superman is speaking with such tenderness. He still hasn't gotten over his feelings for Laurie. I also recall the kiss you gave me when I put the pearls around your neck. Light bulb, it's glowing. That old devil jealousy has got me again. I'd better use my powder puff again before the bell rings. But as Lois hastily opens her compact, good grief, it's fallen into the water. Now nothing can stop the bell from ringing and telling Superman how jealous I am. Unless, wait, I've got an idea. I recognize that octopus. It's Aquaman's pet. Topo, please do me a favor. I've heard that you can read thoughts of humans. I can't read your mind, but I know you can receive my thoughts transmitted telepathically. Please help me, please. Next second, just as I'd hoped, Topo received my telepathic call for help. I'm asking him to prevent the bell from ringing, and he's doing it by wrapping a tentacle round the bell clapper so it can't hit the bell. Topo saved me from revealing my true emotions. Now that I've got a grip on my emotions, Superman will never know how jealous I really was. Thanks, Topo, old boy. Later that day, at the dedication ceremony of the new Metropolis Dam, well, if it isn't Lana Lang, I should have guessed that wherever Superman would make a public appearance, you'd turn up. Strictly in line of my work, dearie, my mobile TV camera unit is here to televise Superman, acting like a human dynamo. And so, as Superman enters the turbine and whirls around in it at super speed, great guns at that rate. At the rate Superman is generating electricity, we could do without water power. He's storing up enough electrical energy for 100 years. As soon as Superman emerges from the turbine, oh, Superman, you are wonderful. There's no one in the world like you. She's going to kiss him, the scheming cat. I suppose that's also strictly in the line of work. Oh my gosh, the warning light is glowing again. I must stop the bell. I must stop the bell from ringing. It would be awful if I showed my jealousy in front of Lana. That switch gives me an idea. The magnetic field force set up by the dynamo's electric magnet will attract the metal clapper of the bell, preventing it from ringing. Oh, Miss Lane, you threw the dynamo switch. Oh, I did? It was an accident. I'm so sorry. I am not. That dynamo saved me. The bell didn't ring, and I wasn't embarrassed in front of Lana and Superman. Hey, Ron, what's up? Didn't see you there. Yeah, we all love Lana. Oof. All right. Next day in Perry White's office. Well, I had a few narrow escapes, but no one could accuse me of being jealous of Superman. I'll deliver my report to Perry, and uh-oh, Superman's here to judge the planet's prettiest girl reporter contest. Go ahead, Superman, pick the prettiest newspaper woman. Well, Perry, to be absolutely impartial, I picked this gal. Ah, this time I couldn't be jealous. That's my picture scrapbook Superman is holding. For once in my life, I don't have to be jealous. But as fate decrees, a tiny mouse in the wall gnaws at the wires of the planet burglar alarm. Ring! Lois, why, you jealous thing? You heard me discussing the prettiest girl reporter contest, and you thought I picked some other girl? But Superman, I swear, that's not Potter's bell ringing. I don't know what bell is ringing. It stopped now. Go ahead, Superman. Show Miss Jealousy whose picture you selected. It was you, Lois. You were jealous of yourself. But I wasn't. I couldn't be. You must believe me. What's the use? You just can't win. All right, so coming super attractions. This is a cool ad here. We've got uh, Action Comics. This is the issues. They introduced Supergirl to the world. So this issue is a prelude to that issue coming on sale on December. So um, they're kind of advertising it well ahead of the actual release. So they were planning this. Again, this comic came out in February, and the Supergirl comic comes out in December. So that's pretty cool. Shows you that they put a lot of advanced thought into the year's planning and marketing. Kind of different cycle than we're on now. Hey, Ron, if these were right. I just love how ridiculous. First off, these books were obviously meant for kids, but they just make Lois so petty. Just make her so juvenile and petty in these books. But it's really funny as well. All right, this one I'm not going to read. I'm just going to kind of go through. We'll look at the artwork, maybe kind of read some of the panels here. The Unforgettable Superman. So let's take a look here. Lois Lane has one frequent dream, awake or sleeping, that someday she and Superman will become man and wife. But since even the planet's ace girl reporter realizes she must face reality, she realizes that she may never land Superman as a husband. It is then that she tries to seek some other romantic interest. What happens to Lois? Lois attempts to fall in love with someone else? Is the hilarious yet touchingly human story of the unforgettable Superman. So here she is. I guess there's an astronaut that falls to the Earth. Lana's there as the TV kind of anchor or reporter on the scene reporter, and looks like Lana and the astronaut end up falling for each other. And it looks like a romance is developing. And he introduces her to Roy. Or sorry, they have a double date with Lana's new guy pal. And there we go. It's a double date, but she's just not feeling him. She's like, nope, as great as he is, he's not Superman. And then she can't escape her memories of Superman. And here they are. I guess they're like, after a couple of dates, they're already getting married. It looks like. Say, both gowns look beautiful. It's a good thing I bought 2 necklaces for you at the jewelry counter. Now you can wear one of them with your bridal dress. How thoughtful of you, Doug. I'll model one and Lois can model the other. This necklace reminds me of green kryptonite and the time Superman was manacled in chains of deadly green kryptonite. Oh, it's no use. Everything reminds me of Superman. I can never get interested in another man. Oh, good old Lois. She's so devoted. Let's read this last one. Sob, sob, sob. Say, I can hear someone crying. It's a woman's voice. Who is it, Clark? Why don't you look? Lana, what are you doing here? Why are you crying? I feel terrible, Lois. I just can't go through with the wedding. When I'm still in love with Superman, I tried to fight my real feelings, but little things kept reminding me of Superman. For example, at the theater when King Arthur gave Guinevere that red ruby crown, it reminded me of red kryptonite. Then at the bridal shower, the walkie-talkie watch reminded me of the signal watch Superman gave Jimmy Olsen. And when we arrived at the bridal salon, the doorman was wearing red, blue, and gold braid uniform, which reminded me of Superman's costume. You don't know how I tried to conceal my emotions, but inwardly I was dying. That's why I had Clark call Doug to call off the wedding. I can't marry him. I still love Superman. I thought I was the only one reminded of Superman everywhere I went, but the same thing happened to you. Shortly, it's agony, isn't it, Lois? Turning down handsome men for the love of a man who doesn't even know you're alive. Yes, but I'd rather go on hoping maybe someday Superman will marry one of us. I'll say one thing for them. They never give up. Do 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 do. Boing. Oh, this is good stuff right here. All right. Well, that is Lois Lane number 31. 3 stories there. The latter 2 by the legendary Kurt Schaffenberger in terms of the interior art. So, yes, there you go. Old people, what are you going to do? Play the boy toy. Poor astronauts. They got played that whole. First of all, they had a couple dates, and that relationship moved really quick. It was like, oh yeah, we kissed, and then we had a couple dates, and now we're gonna commit to each other for the rest of our lives. I guess that's how I guess things moved a lot quicker back in those days. I couldn't imagine anyone getting married that quickly these days and it being like a plausible thing. But of course, we live in different times, and again, it's a very kind of silly, almost just almost dumb story, but nonetheless, it it's just fun stuff, like I think these men writing stories about women is of the time is just has a lot of issues, obviously, with representation and you know just how disparate things were for men and women socially. So But at the same time, progress is measured in, you know, inches, and definitely Lois Lane. I think her persona, the reporter, uh, smart, savvy reporter, being in the workplace, working, and um, at least at the career level, she's on equal terms with Clark. Um, in terms of her status at the Daily Planet. So those are, I guess, positives. But obviously, these stories are very antiquated, and uh, yeah, uh, don't paint a very good picture of women and their place in the workforce and all that. So yeah, a lot of kind of stereotypes about what women want here. When I'm sure not all women were dying to get married and jealous of, had crushes on people at work and were jealous of like every other woman. It just that was just a fun sort of ridiculous story around Lois. So hope you guys had fun as I went through that. Yeah, well, women. I guess we're not too far removed from the sort of men not understanding women. I guess we're still kind of living in that age where men and women still speak kind of like different languages. But yeah, I had three wives at this. Wow. All right. Yeah, what's interesting is like we're not that far removed from polygamy in a lot of places in the world. It's not just the US, but lots of places in Asia. 100 years ago, polygamy was pretty standard. So um, it does illustrate how far we've come in the last century as a society. And I guess as long as we're not backtracking or backsliding in terms of progress, it's a good thing. But sometimes I feel like it's a slippery slope. You make all this progress and you can lose it all in an instant with just some, you know, people like, you know, the current administration, right? There's just some things he's doing that it just feels like it's multiple steps backward in terms of our progress as a egalitarian society. So those are always things that we need to be vigilant about and hopefully stand up for. So, all right. My back, it's feeling better tonight. I had some treatment done on it earlier tonight, so feeling better. But I am gonna kind of lie down and rest up. Yeah, I think a lot of the biblical times, you could have multiple wives and all that. Um, I think there are still parts of there's still like circles. I mean, polygamy is um, no longer allowed in the U.S., but up until I want to say just a couple, like 20, 30 years ago, I feel like there were parts of the U.S. that still where it was still legal, which is surprising, right? All right, Juan. Well, I saw you got some comic books from cheap comic collectors during his auction. Hope those Superman books. You got some Superman books, right? If I'm not mistaken. Good man. No, they're just too much, a little too much for me. That like $3, $2 a pop. Not that they're too much. It's just the hustle of having to bundle stuff and do all that. I just didn't have any money to really take part. But I do watch and enjoy when he puts those when he kind of puts books up for claim and sales. So it's fun to watch that kind of stuff. Oh, that's nice. Hopefully they're ones you want. That's cool. Yeah, he's great. I feel like like you buy a good little bundle from him, and he's just gonna throw a bunch of extra books in there, which is always good. No, I don't think you picked up anything that I wanted, but you did pick up a lot of nice books. Yeah, I mean, I always want Superman books, but um, glad you got a bunch. It's nice to see because you see these sales, and everybody goes after Marvel, and all the Marvel stuff is like picked up real quick, and you see like people not as interested in Superman and some of the older like DC stuff. But yeah, it's always good to see collectors like you prioritizing what really matters. So okay, I will take a look and let you know. But enjoy those books, man. Should be fun. All right. With that being said, Ron, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to continue to read my comic books, and so if you just want to sit and enjoy me narrating some of the story from yesteryear like today, uh, tune in the next one. I think I'm going to transition to a Superboy book for the next one. So stay tuned. DC books all the way. Yep. DC. It's not even close. I mean, Marvel, as great as they are, DC is the better books, better characters, better everything. No, I'll read them. I'll read them. I'll let you know what I'm gonna read. Let me know what you want me to cover in the comments, and I'll try to hit those books. But yeah, just kind of slowly going through my collection. This is my second book. I did Action yesterday, Action 244 yesterday, and then Lois Lane 31 today. And we'll probably do a Superboy book in the next one. So stay tuned for that. All right. Well, good night, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Enjoy your Christmas, everybody.